Yo, what's up, YouTube? What's up, Raider Nation? It's your boy, Mr. Raider Kid here. Super Bowl was yesterday. Season's officially ended, but unfortunately, the Kansas City Chiefs are champions once again. I'm a little annoyed, a little mad about that. It is what it is. I could talk about the game at the very end, but some more important, bigger news happened yesterday before the game, and that's what I want to talk about. And that it affects us Raider fans and affects the Raiders, and that's what's most important here on this channel and to all of you that are watching. And that is Derek Carr telling the team that he will not accept a trade to anywhere. And this was the worst case scenario for us in this situation, and it's about to happen. And that is, of course, that we're not getting anything back for Derek Carr. We're not trading him. He is going to be released before the deadline so that that money doesn't hit. And the Raiders will have about $5 million in the dead money for next year, but saving up about $29 million. So there's a benefit there, silver lining, a positive outcome at that. But I want to talk about the situation real quick, get my thoughts on it. Real quick though, I would like to shout out everyone who subscribed to watch the video last week, who commented, who I interacted with. I really appreciate it. It made me feel really good to see everybody, my little community, back together, and we were just in the comment section dishing it out and in a peaceful way. There was a couple comments that kind of went left, but you got to remember here, my channel at least, although yeah, these are some of my opinions and things in that nature, I'm speaking from the heart of a diehard Raider fan who invests their life into this. Like, it's everywhere. And I'm just a normal guy. I'm not pretending to be anything big. I love football. I know football. I know the Raiders. I love the Raiders. I'm not trying to pretend to be anything I'm not. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you I have sources and pay $11 on Twitter a month to have that blue check to fool you to think I have sources and I'm some guy that you should follow. I don't like that. And that's what I meant about posers. I don't mean about other people and their opinions and meaning they're being posers because they have other opinions. No, you totally took that wrong, whoever commented that. What I mean by that is using your platform to fool others to think that you have some sort of value better than us little guys or whatnot, or us regular fans, thinking that you're higher of them because you have thousands of subscribers and you do this show and you recycle content from other YouTubers and you recycle content from the networks and mash it all into one and think that you've put together this master production and fooling people into think that you have sources and that you're an insider and that no. And those guys doing it for the wrong reasons. And I hate that. And I hate what the community has become, especially on Twitter. And they use that influence and they know when to ride a wave that people are following just to get those clicks, the clout, the clickbait, all that. Those are the posers I do not like. I'm a real Raider fan here, sitting here for 27 years of my life, who've only experienced 20 years of losing with one or two sugar sprinkles of a winning season. And I'm just talking to you from the heart, man. That's all this is. So if you like that, subscribe. If you don't, then I guess you can go to one of the posers channels or their Twitter pages and kind of just rant and argue with people all day if you like that kind of stuff. I don't have that kind of time to be arguing with people all type of day, man. That shit's exhausting. I'd rather chat and conversate with you people here who are watching my video and just kind of get what I feel out and hear what you got to say in the comments or on your videos. I still love watching Raider John. Raider John, 100%, my favorite Raider YouTube channel. He just speaks from the heart, man. And pure emotion and raw, reactions when he has them. I love it. That's what it was back in the day. You know what I mean? But let's talk about Derek Carr for a second. Because as you know, in the last video, I talked about Derek Carr and how I wish him nothing but the best. And I hope we can get a trade finalized. And I love Derek Carr. But I'm not going to lie to you. His whole being petty by saying like, nah, I'm good, no trade, has got me feeling some type of way. Like, fuck him. He is now an enemy. That's just the bottom line. And there's no one to blame here besides Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler. Maybe Mark Davis if he was really involved with this whole decision. But it's those two individuals. They're the new leaders of this football team. Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler gave Derek Carr this contract before the season ends, not knowing if he was going to be their guy going forward, giving him a no trade clause. Like, that right there is ridiculous. And they're the reason why we're in this situation, and we're getting no compensation for Derek Carr. And it sucks because Derek Carr is a starting quarterback, a top 15, arguably good starting quarterback in this football league that can take a team to the playoffs. And it will not surprise me when he goes to a team, say if it is the Saints in free agency, and he takes them to the playoffs, because that division is trash. They have no quarterback, and that team did what it did. Although Derek Carr didn't do much against the Saints that season, they obviously know that they just need an average type quarterback, a game manager, say, you could say, to get them to that next step, to get them in competitive talk, because that division was completely garbage. Look at Tom Brady made it to the postseason with a sub 500 record. So I would not be surprised by that. But at the same time, it's F him, and the only people to blame here is Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels. You bench the guy 2 weeks before the end of the season, before even being eliminated from the playoffs. You told him to go home, have a nice vacation, and then you expect him to accept a trade? No. I mean, we should have seen that coming, honestly. But, we're optimistic, right? As fans, we're optimistic. Like, oh, Carr will let us, trade him. There's got to be some demand out there. But no, man. At the end of the day, if you break up with your girlfriend and you ask for some of the things you gifted her over the years, she's not going to give that stuff back, especially if it's high value stuff. Same situation here. Carr is not going to give us what we want after we embarrassed him. That's just not going to happen. So I don't blame him for doing that. But at the same time, I'm not going to respect it. Because he did say things like he only wanted to be a Raider, he wanted to retire a Raider, he wanted to retire if he was traded, and things like that. He, hyped us up with that narrative, and because the way Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler handled the situation, now he wants a redemption tour. Now he wants to prove us wrong, and he wants to show us. And I'm sure all the fans out there that were flooding his Instagram and flooding his Twitter with a bunch of hateful speech about he sucks and all this, you guys fueled into that fire too. And so now he wants to go prove you all wrong. And he just might. But that's not our problem anymore. He's not going to be a Raider. And until we come around in that circle where he becomes a Raider for a day to retire, because I feel like that should happen and that will happen someday, that will be then. Right now, it's fuck Derek Carr. He's an enemy now. He will no longer be a Raider. And he told us what he told us, and he didn't live up to that in his word. You can't respect that, really, but you can understand it considering the circumstances, that the way things played out. It was dirty. Josh McDaniels and the way they handled it was not the Raider way, in my opinion, but whatever. You know what? It's time to move on. What's next for the Raiders is the most important. What do? I have a fear that we might go out and try to get Jimmy Garoppolo because he's familiar with the system and crap like that. I really hope that's not what we're going to do, because I feel like he might ask for a lot of money. Do we go and trade for Aaron Rodgers? Do we draft a quarterback in the first round? Honestly, in my opinion, I do not want the Raiders to waste more generational talent like that we have on this team currently to rebuild. And I don't want to go through another rebuild, man. Even with a rookie quarterback, I don't expect, if we draft a rookie quarterback, I'm not going to have any expectations of this rookie. It could be a total fluke, and I'm not going to be like he's a bust. Because it's unfair to ask these rookie quarterbacks who aren't NFL ready, they come from a game that's completely different, to just fill in and be superstars right off the bat. I mean, look at Jalen Hurts. We just beat him. Derek Carr and this Raider team beat Jalen Hurts and the Eagles just last season. And they were in the Super Bowl. And arguably the best team all season long consistently, even without him there. So what's next for the Raiders? What do we do? I can tell you this, from watching the Super Bowl yesterday, I couldn't help but just feel sad and angry that I just want to see the Raiders in the Super Bowl so bad. So bad. I want to see the media hype. I want to see the player interviews. I want to see the brand, the logo, the Raider shield on commercials everywhere for the Super Bowl, because we deserve it, man. This fan base deserves it. We've gone through hell and back in these past just 20 years alone, from the dark shadow of Jamarcus Russell, from terrible first-round picks like Henry Ruggs, Damon Arnett, to Leatherwood, Alex Leatherwood. These terrible decisions, from not drafting guys like Calvin Johnson and Derrick Henry, and all these guys that we've passed for other players that have gone to become superstars. And we took guys like Fabian Washington, like Michael Huff, like Darius Hayward-Bay, and Jonathan Abram in the first round, and we completely could have been a whole different franchise by now, man. And it takes a team like the Eagles, and it takes these franchises almost 1 year to just completely just figure it out. And it's taken us 20 years, and we're still struggling to figure it out. So what do? I don't want the Raiders to waste more talent like Max Crosby, like Devontae Adams, like Darren Waller, like Hunter Renfrow, like Colton Miller. I don't want them to waste this talent again. What do the Raiders need to do? And in my opinion, what I'd like them to do, my overall I'd be happy with, you spend money on free agency with defense as much as you can, because you still have the rookie minimum of 12. You have to go and pay Josh Jacobs. You have to, even if you franchise tag him. And you got to try to get a quarterback. And if that's Aaron Rodgers, then go and trade for him. Go and get him. Let's do this. Let's get Aaron Rodgers, reunite him with Devontae Adams, his best receiver he's had in his entire career. He was an MVP just a year ago. Go out and get him. Put the money into the defense. See if you can get some veterans to take a minimum, just like way Brady got people to come play for him. I don't know if people will come play for Rodgers in that same way. I don't know if he's the same kind of guy like that. He's got that character issues to some people. But go out, get Aaron Rodgers. Let's turn this fucking thing around. Let's get the defense to be sub-average, guys. We don't even need a top 10 defense. Top 15. Just be 15th. Just be 15th best in the league, and I'm pretty sure we can win at least 10 games. Go get Aaron Rodgers. Re-sign Josh Jacobs. Find another receiver that can catch the ball on the opposite side of Devontae, and let's go fucking win a Super Bowl, please. That's my best case scenario. Realistically, who the fuck knows what Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels are going to do, man. They could go after Jimmy Garoppolo. They could re-sign Jarrett Stidham and just draft a quarterback and then beef up the defense. I'd be okay with that, but I'm just not. I don't want to look forward to a rebuild season. I don't want it to be an experiment, because it felt like this was an experiment and it shouldn't have been. And whether you blame Carr for that, regardless, the facts are the facts, and that we lost 5 games with a 10-point lead plus. 5 games. Take those 5 games, add to those 6 wins that we already had. That's an 11-win team. And realistically, that's where we all thought we would be at the beginning of the season after winning 10 games and fighting for a playoff spot. Excuse the kidding. You know what I mean? So here we are now. We're moving on from this guy we just re-signed. He's going elsewhere, and we need to figure out what we're going to do. And I can feel like I speak for most of you guys. I know you don't want to do another rebuild with this talent that we have on this team. There are holes. I think the defense as a whole has the biggest hole. Offensively, I don't think there's a lot of holes besides right tackle, maybe right guard, and a receiver, and a third receiver to play the outside. But defensively, we need help everywhere. We need smart IQ football players who can tackle, and just playmakers, man. Just playmakers. You need playmakers on defense. But, yeah, that's how I feel about that. So let me know what you guys think down below. Super Bowl was cool. It was a good game, actually. And it just really sucks that games are decided by penalty calls at the end of the game like that. The second year in a row, we have a ticky-tack play and under 2 minutes or around that time in the game, and it ultimately decides the game. And I'm not saying it cost the Eagles the game. I'm saying is that we as fans didn't get to see it play out naturally. That ticky-tack play ultimately led the clock to get run out easily. And if we got to see that play out, maybe the Eagles have enough time to go down and kick a field goal and tie it again or something, go into overtime. And we'll never get to see that because of a ticky-tack foul. And I don't think they should call those. I know there's other penalties throughout the game and stuff like that, but the NFL's got to get something together where these penalties are not costing games at the end, unless it's blatant, like a pass interference call that clearly. But this ball was thrown over. It was overthrown. It was a quick grab, right off the start, and it's one of those ticky-tack penalties that is clearly debatable, and you can make a case for many sides And those calls should not be called in the biggest game of the year. And that's all we're going to remember. That's all we're going to talk about is how it ended instead of the great comeback of whoever, or how the Eagles were managed to tie it up and send it into overtime. We'll never get that. And I hope something changes in the NFL because he just questions the integrity of the game. It really does. And yeah, man, that's how I feel about that. Fuck the Chiefs. I hope that the Raiders can be in that position soon, man, because I'm waiting. And I know I got a long life, hopefully, left to live, I pray, but I'm itching for that sooner than later. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. If you made it this far, really appreciate it. Comment, share, like. You got other Raider fans, homies, whatever, brothers, and you want to, just pass the video along, I'd really greatly appreciate it. The more people that watch my videos, the more good feeling I get. So I really greatly appreciate all of you. And until next time, we'll talk soon. Raider Nation, I'm out.